1 part controversy to 2 parts sugar. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Great British Bake Off scandals. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at moments from the hit baking show that stepped outside its rather tame nature and gave us a taste of something a little more outrageous. Who knew baking could be this scandalous? Number 10. Betting scandal.
Judges have made a decision. It's been like waiting for a new pope to be elected. Thankfully, the white smoke has now emerged from the marquee.
It was news to us that you could place bets on competitive TV shows, but it was even bigger news that employees of Bake Off's production company tried to scam bookmakers in 2015 using insider knowledge to bet on the season's winner, and were totally busted for it.
Ed.
That's right, the British bookmaker, Ladbrokes, noticed some suspicious activity before the season finale of Bake Off aired, with lots of new accounts created and all of them backing the same winner to the tune of over £10,000. Not only was all the new activity suspicious, but Ladbrokes easily tied the bettors back to the production company too, because these modern-day heist masters used their own names when opening the accounts. Not too bright.
Oh my god, that actually did happen. It wasn't, a dream.
Number 9. Prue doesn't like baking.
I'll be firm but fair, because I want the bakers to do their very best.
We're assuming one of the very first rules of Marketing 101 is not to admit disinterest in the very product you're selling. And we're also guessing that Bake Off host Prue Leith must have totally forgotten that rule. While hosting a cooking class, Leith told students that she is more interested in cooking savory dishes than sweets and treats. And the reaction to this news once it went public left fans of the show with a major WTF moment, that the judge of the wildly popular baking show isn't all that interested in baking. That's like finding out Simon Cowell prefers beatboxing over singing.
Very nice flavour.
But there's a silver lining here, as Leith has admitted that she likes eating sweets. Oh, thank goodness for that.
Prue, you just like them because they match your outfit.
Number 8. Carter Bailey's Instagram. There's no better place for a conspiracy theory to grow up big and strong than on social media. And this is exactly what happened when Stephen's stunning creations on the show left some fans not only unimpressed, but also questioning whether he was a professional baker trying to scam the public.
It's very well designed and it's as neat as a pin.
The proof of their charges was his Instagram account, where the talented baker showed off some of his finest cakes, and some fans thought they were just too good to be from an amateur. Now, obviously, looking at these pictures, you'd be forgiven for thinking Stephen's a pro, but he's actually just a marketing manager who learned to bake from his mum. So the real scandal here is the cynical responses from unhappy fans.
That is stunning.
Number 7. Tandoh versus Hollywood.
Nice crust on the top, that's the part I like.
Let's have a look inside.
Oh, that's going to be so bad. Oh,
Ready?
no.
During Ruby Tandoh's second place finish in the 2013 competition, some, obviously unhappy fans, convinced themselves that she only finished that high because she flirted with and fancied one of the show's judges in Paul Hollywood. And considering Hollywood's very public trials with his wife at the time and accusations of an affair, it only added fuel to the fire that Tandoh and Hollywood were an item outside of the show, and making for some scandalous rumours online.
That's the one. If I was going to go for one, that's the one I go for.
Okay.
The onion is delicious. Cream cheese, great. Really crispy shoe. Thank you, Ruby.
Delicious. Thank you.
Fed up, Ruby finally killed these rumours once and for all on Twitter in quite convincing fashion. As you see, not only does Ruby not fancy Hollywood, she doesn't fancy men, period. She came out as gay on Twitter.
Don't tell me things like that, Ruby.
Number 6, Hollywood jumps ship.
All the Bake Off challenges have been devised by judges Mary Berry, cookery writer, and Paul Hollywood, master baker.
When Bake Off moved from its long-time home on the BBC to rival broadcaster Channel 4 in 2016, only one of its judges moved along with it, Mr. Paul Hollywood. And it caused a bit of a stir to say the least. The other judges, including beloved Mary Berry, stayed with the BBC in other roles, in what fans called an act of loyalty.
There's nothing wrong with that.
They were less kind to Hollywood, however, with many claiming he sold out the BBC for more money. But Paul had a very different explanation. He simply wanted to keep the job he loved.
Where are they, Prue?
Dunno. They're late.
Either way, it was an incredibly divisive moment for the show, and many longtime fans refused to follow it to Channel 4, effectively choosing Team Mary over Team Hollywood. Number 5, fraudulent fondant.
I'm constructing the main body of the rocket at the moment.
What's the surest way to get kicked off of a competitive baking show? Well, by not making your creation from scratch, of course. And in a mind-bending decision, this is exactly what then contestant Enwezo did in 2014, when he unashamedly used store-bought icing on his biscuits. I mean, shouldn't that be illegal?
Is this fondant in
Fondant,
between?
yes, yes.
Did you make the fondant?
No, I didn't.
Now, he didn't get away with it, of course, as the look on the judges' faces was one of absolute disappointment, and he was booted from the show immediately after, but we really have to wonder just what was going through his head at that moment. Store-bought icing on a baking show? That would be like trying to win X Factor by lip-syncing. Silly, silly.
The person, very sadly, who's leaving us today is always so.
Number 4, stolen custard.
I've got to make that into proper custard, and I've got 2 types of caramel to make, so yeah.
The case of the missing custard had fans of the show playing detective on social media, trying to figure out the truth. Had Deborah meant to steal Howard's custard, or was it all just a big mistake? Well, according to Deborah, it was just a slip-up, as she forgot what her bowl looked like and unintentionally grabbed Howard's instead.
Where's my custard? Oh no!
I'm so sorry, Howard.
But the internet wasn't buying it, and thus the CustardGate hashtag was born to get to the soggy bottom of it. While most of the tweets were in jest, and the incident looked like a genuine accident, this moment actually had major ramifications for Deborah, as she was sent packing at the end of the episode, and few on Twitter had much, if any, sympathy for her.
I've got some of my own.
It's either a terrible error or the most incredible case of baking espionage I've ever seen.
No, I'm so really sorry.
I'm sure that one custard's as good as another.
Number 3, Bingate.
It's a mess, disaster, it's revolting.
Another bake-off, another scandal, and another Twitter hashtag. Not unlike hashtag CustardGate, hashtag Bingate had social media sleuths playing detective once again, trying to decide whether Diana meant to leave Ian's baked Alaska out of the freezer to melt on purpose.
Where's my ice cream?
It's here. Sorry, Ian.
Intentions aside, however, Ian was so upset that he threw his melted cake in the bin prior to judging, and therefore was kicked off the show for having nothing to present, making for a really unfair situation, really.
No, go.
And as expected, Twitter was irate. Seriously, some people were so upset they called for Diana's arrest, while others thought she should be eliminated immediately for acts of sabotage. Tensions were so high that Ian himself eventually tweeted and made light of the situation to calm things down. Number 2, the tweet.
What are you doing, Prue?
Unfortunately for Prue, she makes the list again. And this time, it's for a reason so big, it almost ruined an entire season of Bake Off for a lot of viewers. Did she implode on national television? No, but she did tweet out the winner of the 2017 season hours before the pre-taped show aired in the UK.
It's worse than that.
Oh no!
Yeah!
Prue's about to tweet the name
name of this year's winner.
Now, how did she accidentally tweet out the winner, you ask? Well, she was in a different time zone and didn't take the time difference into account before sending her tweet. While she essentially spoiled the season finale for anyone scrolling Twitter at that moment, luckily the finale episode was still viewed in record numbers, and fans ultimately forgave her. Aww.
How did you feel?
Suicidal. I mean, awful.
Number 1. The Squirrel. A familiar image during the show's BBC days was a cutaway to a small parkland outside the studio that housed squirrels and other wonders of nature. And during the finale of the 2011 season, the cameraman happened to capture a squirrel that was less than camera shy and perhaps a bit too proud of his nuts. Yeah, this dude's absolutely packing. While the bottom-heavy squirrel is hilarious, no doubt some viewers were frustrated that the show's producers left this image in the final cut because they felt like it distracted from Joe Wheatley's emotional victory and had absolutely nothing to do with baking. While this is valid criticism, we can't help but feel some of the outrage surrounding the squirrel is a little nuts.
Ding-ling letter just sets off everything.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.